Last week on the channel, we dropped the video where we convincingly won the Irish Premier League with Linfield. We also won the Irish Quadruple and got to the semi-finals of the Conference League. Now, looking at all of that, it's got me thinking, was it the players we had in the team or was it the tactic we used? Well, today we're going to test that tactic. We're going to take Man City, Crystal Palace and Luton and see just how well we can do with those. Hi folks, welcome into the tactic testing video where we're going to test it with Man City, Crystal Palace and Luton Town to see how well this tactic fits with those teams there. And this is the tactic. It is a 4-2-4. We've called it the Linfield press because that's what we were doing with it. We're pressing teams with Linfield. So yeah, it's not inventive, but that's what we're going to call it. So we've got a sweeper keeper on attack. No additional instructions there. We got a wing back on defence on the left hand side. No additional instructions. On the right hand side we have a wing back. On support, again, no additional instructions there. Got a central defender on defence and we've got a ball playing defender on defence. Both of those have no additional instructions either. In the defensive midfield position, we have a ball winning midfielder. No additional instructions there. And just ahead of him, we have an advanced playmaker. No additional instructions. It's just going to, do what playmakers do and create those plays and create the passes. Be an absolute nuisance. On the right hand side of the attack then of the front four, we have an inverted forward on attack, or inside forward side on attack. We also have a winger on the left hand side on attack. We then have a pressing forward on support and an advanced forward on support. No additional instructions for those guys whatsoever. We're playing this on a positive mentality, which brings this is in possession. We're playing it fairly wide, passing into spaces. We're going to play out from the defence. We've got the higher tempo, slightly shorter passing. And then no additional instructions on that side of it. On the transition then, we're going to counter and we're going to counter press. We're going to distribute to the centre back and we're going to take those shorter kicks. And then when we are out of possession, we've got the high press, that higher defensive line. We're going to prevent the goalkeeper from distributing shortly. We're going to trigger that press more often and then we're going to step up that defence as well. So we're just going to, be as high up the pitch as we can. That probably will create a lot of problems for us because we're higher up the pitch, not defending back as a lot of defenders can do, but I think it's gonna work for us. I mean, I've proven it's worked for us with the Linfield section of our UK Glory Hunter Challenge. I will leave a link for that video down in the description, so if you want to see it after this video, click on that link and go and check it out there. Also, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to it as well and drop a like on the video as well. It just gets this video out to more people. Maybe drop a comment down as well where you think we can improve on this tactic as well. So let's jump into the Man City section of this and see how well we can do with them. The aim, win the Premier League, obviously, and then see how well we can do in the other competitions. So here we go then with the Man City section of the video. Tactic is in place. The eagle-eyed ones of you will see that Man City have won the Premier League. So let's have a look at the how else they've done as well. So Premier League, they've won it, 101 points, 83 goal difference, 32 wins, absolutely fantastic. They won the league by 22 points, which they've absolutely destroyed that there. Champions League got to the quarter-finals, Inter Milan knocked them out there. Super Cup, they won that. FA Cup, they knocked out in the quarter-finals by Arsenal. And then Carabao Cup, they've been third rounded by Ipswich Town. And they've lost the Community Shield. So let's have a look at the Premier League then. Have a look at this in a little bit of detail. As I said, 32 wins, 5 draws, 1 loss. That's absolutely phenomenal. I thought with the higher line, they might lose a few more games there. Conceded 35 goals, scored 118, which is brilliant. Absolutely phenomenal. How have they done that then? Let's have a look at the Premier League. So their only loss came right at the end of October. Man United beat them 2-1. I mean, it had to be Man United, didn't it? Had to be Man United that beat them, but everything else is green with a little bit of yellow just dashed in there, here and there. Results then. There's some pretty big results here. I mean, look at this one here. 7-1 winners over Crystal Palace, 6-2 over West Ham, 4-0 over Burnley. Nottingham Forest beat them 5-1. Is there any other big results? 5-3 over Villa. Open it up with this here. 4-0, 3-1, 4-0. Did they beat the big teams though? Did they beat them by high score? So Arsenal's 1-0, drew with Chelsea. Liverpool drew 3-3 with them. Tottenham beat them 4-2. Haaland got all 4 goals in that game there. 4-2 over Newcastle. Man United beat them 3-0. 1-0 Arsenal. Liverpool beat them 4-1. Tottenham beat them 4-1. So yeah, they are just relentless with this tactic. Let's have a look at the FA Cup then. So they had Norwich in the third round. They beat them 4-3. Cardiff beat them 3-1. Tottenham beat them 3-1 and then lost 3-2 to Arsenal in the quarter-finals. EFL Cup, we know, third rounded by Ipswich. And I mean, it's a pretty strong team. They just obviously outplayed that game, so yeah, not particularly good there. What else are we going to look at? Champions League then. So in the group stages, 1-1 with Rangers. They beat AEK. They then lost to Inter, so Inter have been the absolute nemesis throughout this. They beat them 3-2. They then beat Rangers 2-0 and then drew with AEK. Knocked out Bayern in the round of 16. They beat them 5-3 on aggregate, and then it was 4-2 on aggregate to Inter Milan in the quarter-final. So Milan got that little bit of revenge on them there. What other competitions were they in? Community Shield, lost that 3-2 to Arsenal. So Arsenal beat them 3-2 twice this season, and yeah. Drew them in the league and beat them in the league. And then we've got the Super Cup where they played Sevilla and they beat them 3-1 to pick up the trophy. So lovely, lovely stuff. Let's have a look at the squad then. Goals. 72 goals. You would have seen it on the thumbnail anyway for clicking on this video. HAALAND, 52 appearances, 72 goals, 7 assists. Phenomenal. Next one was Julian Alvarez with 18. Then we've got Doku with 17 assists. We've got 22 for De Bruyne. That's quite low. I expect that to be a bit higher with the amount of goals that this team has scored. Bernardo Silva got 16, and then we've got Jeremy Doku with 14 and Julian Alvarez with 14 as well. So the assists have been shared out, the goals have sort of been shared out, bar the 72 that HAALAND has scored. How many did he score in the Premier League? 51. Is that a record? It has to be a record, doesn't it? Can we check that there? Records. We want players. We don't want the modern day stuff. We want the. There's modern day. I can't see it, but yeah, it's got to be a record, hasn't it? No, 60. 60. There's the record. So he's 9 away from equaling the record. But still absolutely phenomenal from that young man. How well is it going to do with Crystal Palace? I mean, the aim for Crystal Palace would be to, I guess, finish in the top half of the table and maybe win a trophy. Let's go and see how they do. So, Crystal Palace, the second team that we're testing this tactic with in this video. As you see, the tactic is in place. Competitions then, they finished 7th. And they've got a Europa League place. Oh, that's brilliant. Didn't do very well in the FA Cup. They got 5th round there, and then second rounded by Millwall in the Carabao Cup. Let's have a look at the Premier League. Did not expect them to finish that high, if I'm totally honest. I was expecting maybe 9th or 10th. Tottenham's had a bad season. But yeah, 7th place, 17 wins, 6 draws, 15 losses, 62 scored, 59 conceded. Is to be expected, isn't it, with the higher defensive line and then pushing on a little bit forward. But that's really, really good. I'm quite happy with that there. Let's have a look at the Premier League. It's a smattering of colour, yeah, of reds, yellows and greens. Pretty decent month in December. Only the one loss to Newcastle. They didn't play any other the big teams there though. This 1-0 win over Liverpool's good. Only 2-1 to Man City. 2-0. They weren't battered by any teams. Well, maybe Chelsea battered them 5-1 there, but and 5-2 to Man City, but they weren't hammered. So I'm pretty happy with that. They hammered Tottenham 6-0. That's good. That's a brilliant result for them there. Let's have a look at the FA Cup then. So third round they had Lincoln beat them 2-1. They then beat Leeds 3-1 in the 4th round before Liverpool knocked them out 2-0. And then in the EFL Cup, Millwall beat them 2-0. And again, I guess it's Mark Gahey having that red card there. That's probably cost them the match. Overall, they're in the Europa League, so Crystal Palace fans would bite your arm off for that. Let's have a look at the goals then. So not a lot of goals scored, which is, I mean, it's the opposite to what Man City did, really, isn't it? 17 goals for Edouard, 12 goals from Mateta, 9 goals for Ayew. Assists, we've got 19 for Eze. He's going to get snapped up. If you're going to get produce those sort of numbers, you are going to get snapped up by any of the bigger clubs. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how Crystal Palace have finished there in 7th place. Just would have liked them to score a few more goals. Can we keep Luton in the Premier League and maybe win a trophy? That's probably asking a little bit too much of Luton, but staying in the Premier League is definitely something I think they can do. Let's go and find out. So that tactic is in place for Luton. How did they do? They finished 16th. That's, yeah, success. We kept them in the Premier League. 4th rounded in the Emirates FA Cup, and then in the Carabao Cup they were 3rd rounded by Southampton. Let's have a look at the Premier League, because that's still the one we need to really focus on here. And they were up by 8 points, so yeah, that's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. We'll look at their past positions. So they were down there a little bit, and then got as high as 13th, and never really looked back then. So this tactic has kept them in the league. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant. Let's go back to the league. Won 9, drawn 10, lost 19, scored 46, conceded 75, 37 points on the table. So that is always good. Let's have a look at the schedule quickly. Quick look at the Premier League, and yeah, you're going to see a lot of red. A lot of red this compared to Man City and Crystal Palace. Bad start in August, sorry. They didn't win the first game, so they beat Fulham in the middle of September 2-1. Then lost to Liverpool. Again, they weren't heavily battered by the look of these results. I mean, 5-1 to Liverpool, 4-1 to Everton. Yeah, it's not heavy defeats. I suppose 5 could be considered heavy defeats. 5-2 there to West Ham. It was really good for them. December again was another good month. 1-2, drawn 5, sorry. So I mean, they didn't lose, so it's always good. And then only losing the 1 game in May, that being Chelsea. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Quick look at the FA Cup, where they were 4th round. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty bad. 1-1 draw with Oxford in the 3rd round, and then having to go to the replay to beat them. Where was that to? Was it at home as well? And then, yeah, Watford beat them 2-0. And then in the Carabao, got to the 3rd round, beat Northampton 2-1, and then lost 3-2 to Southampton. Players then, what were the goals like? 20 goals for Adebayo, 13 goals for Morris, 4 for Doherty. Obviously, they need someone who's going to score lots of goals. And then creative-wise, Barkley with 9, Ogbeni with 5. They need goal scorers. They need creative players if they're going to play in this tactic, but they're in the Premier League, and that's saying something, because normally in a save they get relegated, don't they? It's Luton. They're expected to get relegated. They got relegated in real life. They get relegated in most saves as the game goes on. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And if you guys are pretty happy with this video, like I said earlier, drop a subscribe on the channel, like the video as well, and thank you very much for watching.